Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Today, a tale of two games. Kind of. Two very similar games. We will go over Georgia Tech. We'll go over Pitt. But first, as always, let's hear what Coach had to say following the Pitt win.
Stands out about this game today is, around the 6-minute mark, our defense really stepped up, whether it was the two, our zone, or our man, and, held them to 4 points going down, to the end of the game. Thought that was really, the difference. I thought, we really did some good things on offense, and then, again, we got a little stagnant. We got to continue to work on that. But overall, I thought our defense down the stretch was the key, getting stops. I thought our zone was really good. We got to keep working on getting rebounds out of the zone. But overall, I thought, it was a collective effort. I was very proud of J.J. Starling. I thought he had a tremendous game. I thought he came in and, really set the tone right from the beginning. And everybody else, everybody that came in the game contributed. Tyler Betsy was really good, big for us. So, again, when we make 10 threes, I think that's the first time we made 10 threes this year. So I thought that was the difference as well on offense. We shared the ball, we moved it, and we got to continually get better, on that end. But overall, to come out and get a win on the road at Pittsburgh, which is a tough place to play, we're excited about that, but we still know we got more work to do.
Adrian, what was your reaction to William Kyle's putback dunk to start the second half, and how do you feel like that helped improve the momentum of your team today?
Well, my guys act like they'd never seen that before. I mean, he does it a lot. But, no, it was, in the moment as a coach, I'm just, trying to calm them down and settle them down. But it was, it was a really thunderous dunk. I think, when you have those type of plays, it can't do nothing but energize your team, your fans. And again, I thought we fed off that energy for a while.
I want to ask you about JJ. You mentioned up top, he was much more aggressive today. Did you have any kind of conversations with him, or what was the difference in the way he played today compared to the way he played in the first two ACC games, do you think?
I think everyone has to understand, or not understand, but what I think, this is a very talented team. I think we got multiple guys that can score double figures. So, this is, different from last year. Where he had to do a lot of heavy lifting. I think, with this team, with Donnie and JJ and George and Betsy and Cayenne, all these guys can score double figures.
Can you talk about the ups and downs there in the second half of each of the last two games?
Yeah, I mean, we've had two big dips in the last two games, and it's something that we continually need to work on and address. Careless turnovers, or we kind of lose focus, and we got to work on that. All right, we got to take care of the ball better. We got to continually attack and be aggressive. But typically when those things happen, it's when we stop playing defense. Right, like you can have those dips. Right, like we had that dip in the last 6 minutes, right? But we stopped them, and then when we did score a couple, that made the difference. So when we have those dips, we got to focus on defense and not on offense.
Donnie's been pretty unstoppable since coming back from injury. What do you think has been the biggest key in his development from year one to year two?
I think his physicalness. I think he's really worked on his body. He's stronger. I think that's allowed him to be a better shooter, be a better driver. I think the understanding of what college is about. I think that's really helped him. So a year older. But I think the biggest thing is the way he's changed his body. The strength has allowed him to be more consistent. And driving the ball and shooting the ball. Thank you.
All right, so real quick, that was post-Pitt. We had two games, 82-72. Syracuse takes out Georgia Tech, and then 83-72. Syracuse takes out Pitt. These were two games they had to have, And going back and real quick, giving a snapshot of what Syracuse and Georgia Tech did. The last comments from Coach about Donnie Freeman. Donnie Freeman, career high 27 points against Georgia Tech. Just a solid road win for this team. And a double digit, what is it, like a 20-point, I believe, at one time, 20-point lead blown. And, you know, at the end of the day, Syracuse pulls it off, and kind of defensively, you heard Coach talk about the defense and what they need to do there and those lapses, but they pulled it out. They jump out early. They controlled the pace of this game, and they limited Georgia Tech offensively, and the defense has been really good. And those defensive lapses, and mixed with the amount of turnovers that Syracuse has been producing, just through mental mistakes, mostly, in my opinion. We'll get into it yesterday a little bit, but the lazy passes and things like that yesterday, just taken for granted that you're going to be able to pass the ball with no issues. You still got a team fighting for a win. And, you know, they've got these teams aren't going to give up. So a 20-point lead, while it's comfortable, is something that can be, you know, it can evaporate quick. And in the second half of both of these games, you puckered up a little bit. At least I did. But they did close out strong with free throws, especially against Georgia Tech. That really helped them out. And without that, that game could be a whole lot different. And I think at the end of the day that these early leads and jumping out like that is key in starting strong and being able to, you know, attack offensively and do what they do on defense has been the key to both of these wins, despite some lapses.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And honestly, kind of a breath of fresh air. We knew that these were going to be these are the games that we need to win right now if we want to make a run at this tournament. And these were the first two true road games that they've had, right? So it was very much good to see them go on the road for the first road game and get out to a lead like that. And you can tell that them playing on the road, it's not going to affect them, at least, you know, the Georgia Techs and the Pittsburghs of the world. But Donnie Freeman, you know, obviously the star of the game, 27 points, 9 rebounds. And, you know, I loved the aggressiveness. I love how they ran, played defense. Like you said, 20-point lead. And we were aggressive to the point where we had, I think, 3 Yellow Jackets with 4 fouls, right? I mean, I'm looking at their starting lineup. The whole entire starting lineup finished with 4 fouls. But we never – it was like we got that 20-point lead, and then we kind of slowed things down. The aggressiveness went down a little bit.
It's like the killing the clock mentality, like to slow the game down. But they were just doing so good when they pushed the pace.
Right. That's what I mean. So it's just one of those things where sometimes you just got to stick with what works. I know that if you continue to run, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be more possession. So I understand the thought process of being up 20 and basically kind of limiting the amount of possessions left in the game for the opponent. But what it does is it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone. Then they hit a couple shots and, they made a little bit of a run. And I'm just glad that we could hit the free throws that we needed to hit. 23 of 31 against Georgia Tech, 74%. So that was really it. And we buckled down on defense at the end to get out of there with a 10-point win. So, it was a quad 3 on the road game. So a quad 3 loss, whether it's on the road or home, isn't going to look good. And, winning by double digits, I was happy.
Yeah. And Donnie Freeman is who we need him to be. Mm-hmm. A healthy Donnie Freeman makes all the difference in the world for this team. And just through both games, Coach's comments on JJ, the pressure's kind of off of him. He can play a little bit more free because he knows that he's not the one that has to score all the points. And I think that allows him to kind of play a more relaxed game, sometimes too relaxed. But I think at the end of the day, like Coach said, there's so much talent on this team that they got numerous guys that are going to be able to score in double figures. And, it's not just a defense coming into a Syracuse game where the opposing defense has to worry about 1 or 2 guys. Like they got to worry about numerous guys and guys off the bench and everything. So it makes it a whole lot more difficult for defenses playing Syracuse. And I heard a commenter yesterday's game talk about, this Syracuse team can be, when they play like this, they can be competitive with anybody. And I believe that's true. I think we've seen that this year. They've had some rough spots to some of their games against maybe teams that you think they shouldn't, but at the end of the day, those things are going to happen. And I think that when they play well, and Coach mentioned sharing the ball, 10 threes, yeah, I know, but with that's what we talked about last week, was the being able to move the ball more and not just have this ISO offense. So, all right, let's head to Twitter. I'll do Twitter, Joel will do Facebook for fan feedback. This is the Pitt game, and I don't know, not that exciting on Twitter, actually. I don't know what you got to do to please these fans to get them involved. But hey, let's start with at Jersey Freshest. I don't understand how or why Kings and Starling keep getting the minutes they're getting. Starting to wonder if Sadiq is going to transfer. Also, George might not be so careless with the ball if he thought for a second that Autry would put Fennel in. But he knows Red won't do it. I don't even understand some of this comment. So
yeah, I understand what he's saying.
All right, well, then you tell me.
I mean, he makes it seem like, again, you got a point. Nate George, he played a great game against Georgia Tech, right? Other than the 6 turnovers that he had. But he had 17 points, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. He did have 5 assists. Yesterday, he had another 6 turnovers. He had 7 assists, didn't score as much, but that, JJ stepped up in the scoring category. But I think he's basically saying that, there's nobody, he's not afraid of Red pulling him. So he thinks that he's just a little bit more lackadaisical with the ball. And if there was pressure for somebody to come in when he had these careless turnovers, if there's someone pushing behind him and Red would take him out, then he's basically saying maybe he would be more, careful with the ball, is essentially what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he does. The turnovers are a concern. Being the main ball handler, though, that's going to happen.
No, of course, but 6 in two straight games is a lot.
12 in 2 games is a lot.
But to be devil's advocate, there's a couple that weren't his fault, and also too, he would have had a lot more assists. He did have a lot of good passes yesterday. That was the one thing that you were speaking of. There was still some ISO ball, but for the most part, we passed the ball pretty well, shared the ball to get guys open shots, and we shot great yesterday, and there was still a lot of open ones we missed.
At I Drank Seagrams, we are dancing. Maybe it's too early for that. And maybe that's sarcastic. Dana, overly hyperbolic, maybe. Dana, road win, anytime, anywhere. That's definitely a good thing. Cuff, 1007, solid road win. Slightly sketchy ending, but another double-digit road win. We will take it. So, they ended up not making it like this last-second effort where, we're going to have to deal with making foul shots to pull a game off, right? There was some defensive stops at the end of that game and that they capitalized on offensively that just put this thing comfortable with, with like 20 seconds left. Pitt didn't even foul. They just let them dribble the ball out.
Right.
I'm fine with leads, ebbs and flows of games are going to happen.
Yes.
I'm fine with and expect my team to lose leads, as everybody should be, right? People aren't just going to roll over. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to do things. I think, though, that the main thing, and what I noticed just through the 2 games is, and I think we talked about before we came on, was that the kill on the clock or whatever they're doing sometimes when they get a comfortable lead is, we just talked about it, is not, that doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for the fans. You can waste a lot of time on the clock, but at the end of the day, you're out there, you want to score points. And I don't like that kind of play. That's kind of been something like Jim Boeheim used to do that a lot. You know,
I think we're just kind of like Sunday morning armchair quarterback in this thing, right?
Oh, that's what we do. That's the point.
I know. All right. But I mean, realistically, when you take a step back and you look at all sports, what happens in football?
I start running the ball.
Yeah. You get a team that's a passing team, get up a couple touchdowns, start running the ball. I mean, I think it's just natural.
A game management thing.
It's a game. Exactly. You get up a certain amount of points, you can see the damn win at the end of the tunnel, and you're like, all right, so let's make a change. Let's slow this game down. Let's get to that end of the tunnel. But
it is very easy to sit here and criticize it, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. But everybody, I think, does it for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just like when it comes to basketball, when it comes to football, any sport like that, once you get a lead, you want to try to minimize the rest of the possessions in the rest of the game. But with that, you're taking a chance because you're letting down the aggressiveness a little bit. And obviously the other team's going to be playing in desperation mode, so they're going to be playing a lot harder. But in this situation, I just feel like they learned a little bit from the Georgia Tech game, right? Like they had a bigger lead against Georgia Tech, and they let them get back into the game and make it a closer game than what Pitt did. So it's a very similar game, another road game, and it was a road game against Pitt, which was a quad 2. So Pitt's like 32 spots ahead of Georgia Tech right now. So they're a better team. And I felt like we learned from that. But the first game, we got a lead, but we still, once they started climbing in, we kind of knew when to hit the brakes and get back to what we were doing to get a comfortable lead. Like you said, it wasn't as much of a sweated out game as Georgia Tech was for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, just statistically, like what we've kind of hit on through the year, 83% against Pitt from the line, 74% against Georgia Tech, and then the big one, 45% from behind the arc and 37% from behind the arc. 37 is a high 3-point shooting percentage. Like that's dangerous. You see a team coming into a game shooting 37% from behind the line, and they're dangerous. I mean, 45% in a single game is a lot. And to put the two
15
games,
15 to 18,
yeah,
the free throw line, 56% overall. Like, we shot good yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then coupled that with both of these being road games and the numbers being so similar and so good, like just so good. Like statistically on paper, Syracuse did phenomenal in both of these games. And, you still got Donnie Freeman scoring 22 points, J.J. Starling scoring 19 against Pitt. I threw in the coach's comments on William Kyle's putback dunk, which was, if that was in the dome, I mean, the roof would have come off the thing, right? So because it was at Pitt, it was just silence, right? And that's a silencer for sure.
And it was so early in the second half, right? And you could just, I loved watching the replays where you could see like the reaction of the people, in the background. There's a good one with a Pitt cheerleader. Her reaction was pretty good. So, but yeah, I mean, that putback was great. And Ted on Facebook, he pretty much, that's one of his biggest things with his comment was William Kyle putback dunk number 1 in SportsCenter's top 10 plays. So he was number 1 in the SportsCenter top 10.
Oh, okay.
Ted says, I live south of Pittsburgh and have attended Cuse games here for over 20 years. I haven't witnessed many wins here in hoops or football, so I figured staying home was the safe play. Apparently, my presence has been the real curse all along. Nice win. This team has the talent with Donnie back. It's like a new season. Keep working, boys, and please find a way to stop repeatedly letting teams back into the game with sloppy, undisciplined play.
Yeah, I mean, it was turnovers. I don't really remember the whole Georgia Tech comeback thing, to be honest with you. But yesterday there were some lazy passes and things. But anyway, let's just call him Zachary. Rodborn. Z.W. Rodborn. How about that? What would the record be without a Freeman injury? I love this hypothetical. Certainly less than 5 losses, but how many? Starling was great in the first half, and Kyle has to avoid foul trouble. Lastly, this team, those 2 quick ones at the beginning of the game, I mean, it just happened so fast that, that was bad. Lastly, this team needs to push the tempo. When it slows down, they are lost on offense and unengaged on D. Yeah, it makes them, I think it's a mindset thing. I don't want to hammer on it too much, but like you said, I mean, their teams are going to do it, and our team is going to do it. I think that there was a point where even the broadcaster mentioned Starling, instead of pushing up court, he could have probably gotten something going real quick, but instead he pulled back and started to chew clock. So in the game plan, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Brian on Facebook has a very similar, that's funny that you actually said that comment, but very much similar. Donnie is someone with ice in his veins from 3, which is really helpful. That's for sure. We need to learn to keep our pedal on the metal, stick defense as the starting point, and then make sure that we protect the rock and make good decisions in second half if we have a lead. We need to be smarter. I think a lot of that is on coaching. Some of it's on the players. We're going to have to take care of business with Florida State and watch out for a trap game at Boston College. Those are non-negotiable wins that are needed. We should be 13-3. Houston and Hofstra really put us in a hole, forcing us to have to beat Clemson, and then losing that one really hurt. So, I mean, there's a lot still there, right? Like Donnie, even with, and that's something we saw yesterday, William Kyle, and they brought in Soiree, but I think that we do have the ability, with Betsy and with Sadiq White. I think I saw a lineup out there with Donnie at the 5 and Betsy and Sadiq White out there. So we do have instances where we could do that, and putting Donnie in the 5 against another team's 5 so he could stretch the floor, shoot those threes. I think it's a good strategy when William Kyle is in foul trouble. But yeah, the what ifs of if Donnie never got hurt.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's, we could do the hypothetical, but I think that it's easy to say that, like, that Hofstra game we wouldn't have lost.
I think at the very least it's that one, and I mean that's the one that kind of plummeted us in the net. We'll talk about the net here in a second. But yeah, I think obviously go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I don't know how many more you have, but
I got a couple, but go ahead. You're good. I got like 3 decent ones left.
Top fan Tom. He says, I don't care how it looked those few minutes in the second half. We won at Pitt by 11. Did we think that Pitt was going to give up? This is a rival on the road. This is a really good win, regardless of their net. Oh, plus we were road dogs. Good teams win, great teams cover.
What was there was 18. So I think we're up by 20 on Georgia Tech and 18 on Pitt at one point. So very, very similar.
Yep.
Our buddy David, at David Super on Twitter. Hold on. Am I wrong, or should Kyle be getting more minutes? Don't want to nitpick about that, but loved the win. Loved the tempo of the offense. Donnie is officially back. Pitt sucks. And let's keep racking up wins. Excited for what lies ahead. Cayenne, not Kyle. Thought that sounded funny when I said it. I don't know. 10 minutes yesterday against Pitt. Yeah, I don't know. Joe, you'd be better at analyzing that than I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're starting to see coaches, obviously players are going to get better and you have chances in practice and in games to gain more minutes, but also you see the players that are going to be coming in, Soiree, White, Betsy and Anthony, they're going to be coming off the bench. They go with the first, with the starters because of obviously the scoring, but plus the defense that it brings. I mean, we're ranked second in all of college basketball with blocks behind Georgia. And as poor as,
I think they lead the ACC in scoring defense too.
Yeah.
Syracuse does.
Right. So obviously to the point of one of the commenters earlier, Nathan George, he's going to be playing you 34, 35 minutes as your point guard, right? He's going to have games like he did the other day where he scores. games like he did yesterday where he doesn't, but he's going to get his assists. He'll have some turnovers. We're going to go with JJ and Donnie, obviously, because of their experience and their scoring. William Kyle, obviously, because of what he does on defense. And Nate Kings. Nate Kings is he's a better defender than Kyan Anthony right now. But with that said, you can also see that that Autry, he kind of makes, depending on Kyan's minutes, like if you compare the last two games, Kyan had 18 minutes against Georgia Tech, scored 11 points. And I think that, JJ was struggling. So I think that's why Kyan, he's going to go with defense first. And if with the defensive lineup they can't score and they need a little bit of a scoring boost, he's going to bring in Kyan Anthony. He's going to bring in Tyler Betsy like yesterday to hit, a couple threes, and Sadiq White to bring in his energy. But Kyan, he got more minutes against Georgia Tech, I think, because JJ wasn't producing on offense, and yesterday he was. So, that's probably the easiest way to look at it, is Kyan is coming off the bench behind JJ, and if we need a little bit of a scoring boost because JJ's not feeling it, then Kyan might get more minutes that night. Georgia Tech, he did. Pittsburgh, he didn't.
We talked enough about the blowing the leads thing. I wish I would have saw this one first, but I didn't. So I'll refrain. But at Joe Catskill, I love the way Cuse played in the first half. They were running Pitt out of the gym. They were. I'll just say that, we joke about the petting zoo. The first half was the petting zoo for sure. They were quieted by the Syracuse team for nearly the whole half. I hate that they took the foot off the gas in the second half. That's poor adjustment. If that was coach's plan, love the road win, go orange. Yeah, there's a lot of that. So, look, at the end of the day, they pull off a win. Yeah. You'd like to see them go ahead and just annihilate a team, especially Pitt, because, we can all agree, right? Like, Pitt sucks, right? Boston College sucks, Pitt sucks, and you love beating those teams. And historically, the past few years, we've blown 20-plus point leads against Pitt.
Yeah.
They have overcome those a couple times. Those 2 years in a row. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, historically, I was nervous about that, but they had, they've got this dude off the bench, Brandon Cummings, or he came off the bench yesterday anyway, with 29 points. Yeah, and he just lit it up, right? So, not taking anything away from Pitt, but they're just not as talented as Syracuse. They're just not.
No, they're not, and it's just, let's just hope that they stay in that quad two range. I think that they will. I got one more. Last one?
Yeah. I'm done. Yeah.
Top fan, Mahir.
Oh, Mahir. Okay.
Overall, a double-digit win on the road, a quad 2 win, and a conference win. This is solid. Cuse's net went up from 84 to 78 the previous day, so hopefully a double-digit win helps move the rankings up just a tad bit more. That being said, first half was awesome, but second half they played timid and scared. Red needs to understand which lineups should be out there and for how long. Pitt has played teams tough at home. Overall, though, good win. So happy Donnie's back.
Yeah, very important that this team stays healthy, for sure. So to his point on the net, that's where we're going next anyways. Good transition. I think he said 84 to 78 after Georgia Tech. We were 93 the last time we were here and talked. So through those days, whatever leftover games may have been played, maybe there's games Monday or something. Either way, there's movement. This thing's fluid. It's always, every time someone plays, stuff can change. So from 84 to 78 against Georgia Tech, from 78 to 67 after the Pitt win. And, maybe I just eat my words on what I said last week about how hard it is to move up in this thing because, because you can, but you're doing it on the road too. So these wins at home, obviously, are not going to be this big of a jump, but if you can play good on the road, that's where you can make up some spots. And we're being at 67. This is probably the best place Syracuse has been in at least 2 or 3 years. Being 67 in the net in with ACC games under your belt.
Right.
So I mean, it is, I think, promising that as good as this team is, as talented as this team is, if they stay consistent, they can really start to make strides in this. And they have a ton of, like we talked last time, they have a ton of opportunity to get up there in the net and show everybody what they got.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is I think some of it is obviously the opportunities. I think in the past couple of years, the ACC hasn't been so highly represented as far as up there in the net rankings. So I think that there are teams, we're 67 right now, but, we have Wake Forest, Virginia Tech at 62 and 61. And then you go up a little bit higher. NC State's up there. Miami's up there. And that's not even counting the Dukes, North Carolinas, and the Louisvilles and the Virginias of the world. Notre Dame, Stanford right behind us. California right behind us. So this year the ACC is better represented as far as the net goes, right? But also, too, I think it shows, to me anyway, the importance of playing those quad games, winning a quad. I mean, Pittsburgh, we move up that much. I think partly because of two things. Number one, obviously, it gave us a quad 2 win. But I think also another thing that helped us, and again, taking where you will be, but Clemson, they moved up to, I believe, 28th, which they moved up inside of 30, which means Clemson's now a quad 1 loss. So Clemson jumped from a quad 2 loss to a quad 1 loss, right? So I think that helped us a little bit as well. Prior to this week, we were 0-1 in quad 2, 0-1 in quad 3, 8-0 in quad 4. This week, we're 1-0 in quad 2, 1-1 in quad 3, still 8-0 in quad 4, and we're 1-4 in quad 1. So Clemson bumping up there definitely helps. I know Tennessee lost, so they're around 27. If they jump out of the 30, past 30, then that's going to fall to a quad 2 win. So that could hurt us. I looked a little bit at some of these teams. I don't think we have really a lot. I mean, I think we're stuck at 8-0 with the quad 4, with the quad 4 wins. We got 3 teams we played that are up in the 340s, 350s, 360s. Drexel, Northeastern, they're 70-something, 46 and 70 points away from getting where they need to be. Monmouth is 180th. If they get to 160, then that might go to a quad 3 win. But I think we're stuck at 8-0 for the most part. Houston, Kansas, Iowa State are going to be quad 1s. And Hofstra currently is 82nd in the net. If they get to 75, that moves to a quad 2 loss. So there's a couple things in movement with other teams that I think helped us move up as well, not just the win against Pitt.
And, looking ahead, FSU and Boston College being the next 2 games, FSU 131 and Boston College 176. So you can't lose those games.
No, they're going to be Florida State's going to be a quad 3 game at home. Boston College is going to be a quad 3 on the road. So,
and that's terrible. Quad 3 road games are probably the most dangerous games we could be put in. So
yep.
That is an absolute must win. And Pitt, by the way, after the loss to Syracuse, it dropped to 112. So, like Joe said, I know it's tough. It's tough having a root for teams to stay in a certain area, right? just to complete your own destiny at the end of the year. But we can't have Pitt just become a crap show, the crap show that they probably are, because it's just not going to. It's still a win, so it's okay. You're more worried about those things if they're a loss, but still, you want to get everything. You want to squeeze everything you possibly can out of this, I think. So.
Yeah, and those are the main ones, right? You look at our whole schedule. Realistically, the best chance that we have, obviously, we want Tennessee to stay under 30. We want Clemson to stay under 30, and I want Hofstra to get to 75, but they only have conference play left, and it's the Colonial. So I'm not confident unless they start blowing out. They haven't lost since they played us, but they had a home game against a not so great team in that conference yesterday, and they won in overtime. So I don't see a world where they get up to 75. I think that's going to stay a quad 3 loss, and that's going to be the blemish that we really, really need to worry about. And I just we can't add on to that this week. Last week I would have said, at Pitt as a quad 2 and as a rival that it was going to be a tough game. And not to say, I think we said that we have to win the next 4 games. But if there was one year we're going to lose, then that wasn't going to hurt you as much. It would have been the Pitt game. Now, especially seeing what NC State did to Florida State yesterday, we can't lose a home game against Florida State, and we damn sure can't go to Boston College and lose.
113-69. They played Duke tighter than that. So, the Duke game was actually close at the end of it.
Yeah.
91-87. Now, I didn't watch the game, so that could be deceiving. But 113?
Yeah.
113 points in regulation.
In regulation, yeah. NC State hit 19 threes. So if that tells us anything, then we can say that, Florida State doesn't play great defense against 3-point shooting. Yeah, we just need to be able to hit the shots.
Yeah. They're a 40% from behind the arc team, NC State is.
Yeah.
40%. Golly.
Yep. And that's those teams are that's what they're doing, man. NC State's up there 31 in the net, and they're coming up real quick on our schedule. So, these hopefully this week status quo. I know what the game's on. What is it? Tuesday,
Florida State Tuesday at 9:00.
Tuesday, 9:00 sucks. It's late. ACC Network.
Yep.
And Saturday at Boston College, ACC Network, 2 p.m., just like yesterday. Hopefully we stick it. It's just status quo of what we did this past week. We just got to keep it moving, keep it rolling, because after that, you're talking about bringing Virginia Tech and Miami in, and those are both going to be quad 2 games at home.
Yeah, Florida State. I guess, Joe, if you want to, I'll just give a Cliff Notes version on Florida State, and you want to cover Boston College, and we'll wrap this thing up. Florida State, they're still struggling for a ACC win. Okay, they're 0-3 in the ACC. Balanced scoring, I guess. They got several players averaging double figures, led by Robert McCray the 5th. I guess they could be dangerous maybe in bursts, but they're not going to really light you up. They attempt a notable number of threes, but them being to rely on that is kind of one of their issues. So they're 31% from behind the arc for the year. They do have new coaching. Luke Laux, I guess that's how you say that, right? So they're in transition. They got a whole new coaching team. They're inexperienced. They got a lot of transition. They had a lot of roster turnover last year. Florida State's not someone that's going to come in and dominate inside physically, which Syracuse has the ability to with William Kyle. He plays a lot bigger than he is. And it could be his day to really dominate on the inside. And I think I would look for that. That would be a key. And like I said, they're kind of struggling. We talked about what NC State did to them. But I think if Syracuse can get off to a quick start again at home, albeit 9:00, get off to a quick start, build another lead, keep the pedal to the metal, as we heard several times today from fans, limit turnovers. An attack inside, because I think that's where I think Syracuse can have a big day in the paint against Florida State, and just to be taking care of the ball and not have any defensive lapses, I think they win this game easy. And it's crazy to say that, but I think they can. I think they can do it pretty simply. So, no game is easy in the ACC. But like Joe said, he thinks, I think we could win these next 4 games. I think you kind of have to, just gauging where these teams are. And I also think it's probably set up perfect for us that we played these 4 games before, we're heading into some tougher opponents, right? So
Yep.
They're decent teams, and it's going to give you a good feel of what's going on. But Virginia Tech's just ahead of us in the net. That's after Boston College. Miami's way up there, and then like Joe said, NC State's are right around the corner. So those games are going to be huge. And Notre Dame's no slouch this year. Syracuse is kind of we've had some good battles with Notre Dame basketball over the past few years, right? We're going like 1-1 for the year with them, and just last second wins or losses. And they're really good this year too. So from Boston College, after Boston College on, this thing it gets brutal.
It's on.
Yeah, it gets brutal.
That's why we need to maximize where we're at. I don't know how much more we're going to move up by beating these 2 teams. Obviously, if we can get double-digit wins like we have been, then it would be nice. But with Boston College, the 176 in the net, when you look at their resume, they've only played 1 quad 1 team and lost. They're basically 0 for 4 playing against quad 1 and quad 2 teams. They're 1 4 playing against quad 3 and 6 1. So they've even got a quad 4 loss. They are led pretty much by Donald Hand and Fred Payne, the 2 guards, and they are the only 2 that average over 10 points a game. And really, when you look at their schedule, they really haven't beaten anybody great. I think their best win was at Temple, but they've lost.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But they lost to Florida Atlantic, Central Connecticut State, Davidson, Tulane, LSU, UMass, and they only beat Lemoyne by 8. So, that's really where they're at. They went to Georgia Tech, lost by 12. They lost to NC State by 8. That was a close game. I remember that. And then also at Louisville, yesterday they lost by 13. And they did have actually a 4-point lead at half, Boston College. So, against North Carolina State and Louisville, Boston College just came out and they've played pretty good and hit some shots and came out and scored early. But it seems like the second half they seem to kind of slow down and not score as much, and that could be beneficial for us if we can, get out and run and possibly get some guys in foul trouble, and get them tired, wear them down. I don't think that they're a very deep team. So, but again, we need it.
Gotta absolutely beat Boston College, bro.
Yeah, we could sit here and analyze this and break it down. At the end of the day, they're 167th in the net, and out of the quad 1 through 3s, they've only got one win.
176.
Oh, 176, and they only have 1 win between quad 1 and 3 games. So. They're 7-9.
Like you mentioned, with the quad 4 loss. Who was their quad 4 loss? You said, but I forget.
Central Connecticut State.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, at home.
Jeez. Oh, bro.
60 to 59. So, yeah, and I know it's an ACC team.
So they say.
If we lose this game, it's going to be a worse loss than Hofstra.
Oh, by far. Hofstra's a better team.
Yeah, the only kicker is it's a road game. But based upon how we went on the road and played against Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh this last week, I'm just not worried about it. So obviously, stay healthy. Hope that they continue to work together in the offense. There's a couple defensive lapses yesterday, and again slowing it down. I want to keep seeing them improve, and that's what I've seen in 3 games since Donnie's been back. So.
Yeah.
Hope everyone stays healthy and.
Right, that's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a long way to go. There's a lot of time left, but.
Well, yeah, and we spoke about it too. About there was that stat that said that no team has that's been over net ranking of 75 after New Year's has made the tournament since the net rankings started. And
which was been some time now. Like we've been. I think you know how you get like the beta version of things. I think we're getting out of the beta version of the net rankings.
I think they've been tweaking some things.
They did like not putting them out until after a conference play is almost done.
Right.
They didn't do a preseason net ranking.
It didn't come out until December 1st.
Right. So little things like that will improve this process. I think they must listen.
Yeah, we spoke about it last year. Well, probably the last 2 years.
Yeah, right, exactly. So,
but yeah, I mean, maybe we beat that. Maybe I mean, it's only the 11th. It's only been 10 days, and in 10 days, we talk about going from the 90s to in 67th and under that 75 threshold. Like
from beating teams that really aren't that good. They just both happen to be on the road.
Right. Both happen to be on the road. Obviously, Pittsburgh being a quad 2, and I think, like I said, Clemson moving up to a quad 1 game, I think helps.
That absolutely helps.
The quad 1 game you lost by 3.
Imagine if you won that game.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be a quad.
They probably wouldn't be a quad 1, but you'll take a quad 2 win.
Yeah,
against an ACC opponent.
Right.
Right.
I mean, yes.
So, and who's to say they wouldn't get up there anyway? Because they're a good team. They're a good team. I don't think they're as good as they've been the past couple of years, but they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that one dude that played last year? Big guy. God, I shouldn't have brought it up.
What, for Clemson?
Yeah. There was one big, just giant dude that was just trouble the past few years. He's moved on. So I don't know if he transferred or whatever. I know I shouldn't even have mentioned it. That's my bad. Anyway,
way to put me on the spot, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I thought you'd come up with it. It's like these players, like you remember them so well in the years that you're playing them, but like the next year everything just changes so much. It's so easy to just forget about people.
Oh, 100%. Because now you got to try to figure out what's going on with their team this year, and I don't know.
Right. Well,
Shefflin.
I was just going to look while you were trying to kill time. I'll tell you. No, not Shefflin.
It was Shefflin last year.
Ian Shefflin was the shooter. There was a big dude.
Well, if you're talking about PJ Hall, that was 2 years ago.
PJ Hall, that was 2 years ago. That's who I'm talking about. Okay. All right. My bad. Either way, Ian Shefflin was a dude. He can score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had great defense last year. But yeah, I mean, Clemson's been a solid team. I definitely don't like cheering for Clemson in football, but in this case this year, I think we're gonna have to be a Clemson fan this year. We don't play them again, and hey, if they stay in that quad 1 spot, they're just helping us out.
Clemson's easier to cheer for than so many other teams. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
football or basketball, I know it doesn't bother me.
Brad Brownell's the longest tenured coach in the ACC right now.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, Roy, Jim, and Coach K are all gone.
And the Virginia coach.
Oh, that's right. Tony Bennett. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, I mean, we're in a decent spot. We just need to keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully next Sunday we could have another positive podcast.
I think so.
And talk about how we're going to possibly take the next step against some of these.
Be interesting to see how far we jump. We're not going to jump as much. These are the 2 better teams out of the next 2. Like we got through the tougher. If you line all 4 of them up and look at them on paper, look at them on the court, the teams we just played are better than these 2 teams.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how far we can move this needle. They can't choke in either one of these games, and. We've had some tendencies to let to play down to competition and put ourselves in a bad spot early, and you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So, especially you got 2 things. The 9:00 game is at home, but it's at 9:00, and then the other game is I don't know what the hell time it is, but it's on. 2. It's at 2, and it's on the road. So, there's that. Okay, I think that's going to do it for us. And appreciate all of you for listening. get into fan feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts after these games. And plus, it helps us talk about things. It's content. You are the content. And we appreciate it. So that is all. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.